If you were an evil individual, record executive that wanted to create a system that could extract as much wealth from the artists that you possibly could, given the technology that exists right now, how would it look?
Easy money.
Okay.
You create somebody who is the most radical persona and image of counterculture as possible, and feed them hits. That's it. Like, think
Give me an
about
example. Like,
so like me and Boogies talk about this all the time, which is, I think at its core, I think hip hop is black culture, right? And I think you've heard from a lot of different perspectives within the black culture. You've heard from the CEO, right? Jay-Z,
Sure.
which also drug dealer. You've heard from the artsy dude, Kanye. You've heard from a stripper. You've heard from it's like, what's the next extreme thing that you haven't heard from yet? What's the next extreme perspective you haven't heard from yet? Get that. Look at Sexy Red. I think Sexy Red.
Just gonna say that name.
I think Sexy Red is all. I don't subscribe to this like it's like a weapon of mass destruction. I just think like it's the natural progression of things. It's like Sexy Red is, I think, represents the authenticity that everyone else is almost trying to push. She's like the real deal. She's the real thing. Yeah. And that's why it resonates, because it's like, oh.
Very small percentage of the culture. Very small, but it's
it's impactful. But it's impactful and it's authentic. Yeah. And so
interesting.
Look at like the progression of the game, right? It's like, okay, but where do you go after Sexy Red? At some point, me and Boogs talk about this all the time. At some point, you're gonna hear, you've heard from the CEO, you've heard from the drug dealer, you've heard from the stripper, you've heard from the this. At some point, you'll hear from the crackhead. You'll hear from the this. You'll hear.
Oh, shit.
Now, you will. Why would it stop at
You're making a
think
point.
about it. Why would it stop here?
You're right.
Because you just get more
exhausted men. That's why women have been making the best
No,
music.
it's like, think about it, bro. Like, we're not stopping here. It's gonna go to the next level, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next.
It's more extreme.
Oh yeah, and bro, give it 10 years, a legitimate, like where it's like clear that that's their brand, will have a #1 song in the world and is a known crackhead, and we will be living in a Black Mirror episode where everyone is rooting and cheering on for the train wreck of a crackhead.
What was the first thing you said though? You said counterculture, right?
Yeah.
And counterculture is anything that goes almost completely against whatever the mainstream popularity is.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, the culture of hip hop at its core and at its inception was intelligent movement. What's the antithesis of intelligent movement?
The crackhead.
Being reckless. Yeah.
Reckless.
Okay, we're like kind of close.
Yeah.
Well, no. To your point, I want to.
Everything right now, like why the old heads are like hip hop is dying is because what is happening is counterculture to the culture of hip hop's inception.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the shit happening in hip hop is actually counterculture. In the culture is hip hop.
To the counterculture. I'm curious about this. Okay. Hip hop, I don't think had a #1 album last year.
Right. Until whatever it was. Yeah.
There is a form of music that has gained
I saw this
popularity.
and I sent it to the group chat. It was so spot on.
I'm curious your take on it. And is country this rebellion that you're talking about? Is this counterculture? If the mainstream culture, if everybody's listening to hip hop and hip hop is, it might not be representative of every single person in America, but it is popular music now. Is country now the most rebellious or counterculture thing to hip hop? And is that why it's become so popular?
I think it's not that black and white, but I think there's a couple things. I think it happened with rock music, which is subject matter in rock music reached the ceiling where we had heard everything.
Yeah.
And I think with rap, we have heard everything. Oh, you're also sliding on an op? Heard that. In fact, I heard it and it was better. You're selling drugs? I heard that. 50 did it and it was way harder.
You're sad, you're emotional.
You're sad, heard that. Cudi, way better. Drake, way, you know what I'm saying? It's like everything that's happening in rap, I've already heard the better version of it.
So what haven't we heard yet?
So it's reached this point of we've heard all of this. It's like at this sort of breaking point where what's about to happen. And that's one layer of it. I think the other layer is people who listen to country and rock, they weren't on the streaming platforms at first. They were still on iTunes.
Yeah.
Right?
They were still buying CDs.
They were still buying CDs. They've migrated.
interesting.
They've migrated over where now my dad is on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
That was the last
is
genre
interesting.
of music that was still buying.
Right. So now you're getting the audience that was basically country music's audience, in my opinion, was last to migrate to streaming. But now that they have, people are seeing that, wow, there's a lot of them.
Think about
So it's not necessarily
Well, a lot
a
of them in
rebellion.
America than there is
It's
in
just that they were the last ones to convert.
To migrate.
And because of the
Yeah.
conversion of migration, now we're seeing these numbers that look astronomical, but those were always
They
the
were
fucking
always
numbers.
there. They were always there.
That's interesting.
They were
Kenny
always there.
Chesney been moving units.
Yeah. They were always there. They were just
always
last
had
to the
their
party.
own award show that was huge.
They were just last to the party is all that happened, in my opinion. But also, I do think rap's subject matter has reached a ceiling where there's no new perspectives being introduced outside of like the select few, which is why like, I know a lot of people had flack for Kendrick's most recent album, but in my opinion, Father Time is like one of the greatest songs released in the past 10 years because I've never heard a mainstream rapper talk about, and I could be wrong, right? I don't want to like say that this is the God's honest truth, but it's like, I just have never heard a mainstream rapper talk about father issues in that light. I thought it was fucking profound. I've heard mother issues and all that.
Or child abuse. He talks about.
It's like, I think introducing new concepts into the lexicon of rap is powerful. And if you don't like the sound of it, that's fine, that's fair, that's taste.
But
I respect that. And that's why I did Santiago, was because honestly, like Kendrick's album, and really Father Time inspired me to speak on my issues because I was like, so it's safe to do that? And then I think I also like talked about shit that's never been talked about before. And
This is all forms of art. Once people see that it can be done, they feel way more comfortable doing it themselves as well. They just can't conceptualize talking about like an abusive childhood or a relationship with their parents, which they might also have, but they're too locked in this game of how can I replicate what's successful? Once you make something else successful, they start going, well, I would also like to try to do that.
Sure. The labels are hanging on by a thread. I'll tell you this.
Wait, whoa.
The labels are not going to allow rap to fall by the wayside like that. They're going to keep boosting and juicing the stream so that it appears that, what are y'all talking about? Rap's not losing steam. There's country, sure, but we're still crushing. No, you're not.
Wow.
You're having to spend a lot of money to keep up the facade. This is A Star Is Born. What is the Lady Gaga movie? It's that.
A Star Is Born, yeah.
It's right now, the labels are doing everything they can to keep the makeup and the wig and the choreography going so that it looks like shit is popping. But it's not. It's not.
And how does that end? Do they run out of money?
No, I think it's like every genre.
I think, bro, to be honest, once again, the truth is boring, right? Here's the truth. You know what it is? 4 years ago, every CEO was signing every SoundCloud rapper and their cousin. You know what they're about to do? Sign every country artist and their cousin. And guess what? The country artists, like we talked about before, they'll make enough money to cover the loss of the rappers that they're still fronting. And so it doesn't matter. It'll always look like rap's still doing its thing. Country's booming, yeah, but rap is still crushing. Yeah, but y'all are signing the country artists. I know, because I'm talking to I still have relationships with the people at the labels, and some of them are good people, and we talk about it all the time, where it's like, their whole focus is country artists.
My theory is
The whole focus is, look at Morgan Wallen, bro.
Yo, Morgan,
Are you kidding?
Well, he uses some words rappers use.
Bro, Morgan Wallen, bro,
good.
Morgan Wallen, Jelly Roll,
Shout out Jelly.
Yo, that's the man.
Bailey Zimmerman, like all these dudes who are like dudes and women who are coming through this vessel of this singer-songwriter, country twang, alternative sort of space. That's who the labels are scooping up like they were doing 6 years ago with like Lil TJ and Polo G and all those kind of guys. It's like, that's what they're on now. It's musical chairs, bro. It's like thinking that these people actually give a fuck about you is the mistake.
Now, real quick. If rap starts to, let's say, struggle and views and streams are harder to come by,
Yeah.
do you think that rappers will resort to more extreme tactics in order to garner those views or streams? And
Yes.
that's how the art becomes the crackhead doing all these crazy
Well-
things, or the slide on the ops gets even crazier. I need to do something even crazier in order to get the reaction that I did before.
Yes, but also it's like labels, I think labels are going
Go ahead,
to...
guys, right here. You got something on your chin. Yeah, you got it.
Get it
Yeah,
from
you
me.
got
I think labels are going to continue to prop up rap to attract newcomers. Because, put it like this, right? Labels letting rap fall is a bad idea for them. Because now where the up-and-coming rapper is going to go to? They're going to feel like, well, no, I'm not going to go over there. I'm not going to sign because all these rappers are falling off. But if you keep seeing rappers doing crazy numbers, you're like, all right, so there's still a place for us. So they're going to keep propping it up, knowing deep down, damn, we're having to spend 30 grand every 4 weeks to keep all these rappers propped up, but these country artists are making millions. But you know what? At least we're still recruiting and persuading these up-and-coming rappers to come over here.
And they want to keep the rappers so they don't lose like market share.
Yeah, of course.
Also, you don't want to let an independent scene pop up.
This is a fact. I might even get, I don't know, my lawyer will probably call me after this. But when I left Columbia, first of all, I bought myself out of the deal.
What does that mean?
It means they wanted another album,
Yeah.
right? And I said, I'm not doing another album. I said, okay, well, we need money. This is like layman's terms.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. Here's $1 million and some change. Y'all can have it. And also part of that was, well, we want market share on your first 20 songs or whatever the fuck it was that you put out independent. What do I give a flying fuck about y'all's little dick measuring contest in the industry?
Meaning those songs.
Meaning, like, after I leave the label, when I put out 20 songs independently and Hits Daily Double puts out the market share report where UMG has 30%, Sony has 20%, Sony wanted to be able to claim my first 20 or whatever songs independently as part of their market
For
share.
his bonus.
Even if they're not with Sony, that was part. What do I give a fuck about
Yeah.
y'all's weird dick measuring contest
Well,
that you can
yeah.
flex to the other fucking weird CEO at the Christmas party?
Yep.
I don't give a flying fuck. I'm getting out of here. You know what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
like that's what they're moving off of
Right.
is market share.
Yes.
Because bonuses are attached with that. If you're number one in market share, get a bigger check.
Yeah,
from.
you as the CEO or
Yeah,
whatever.
of course.
So my theory with music genres is that any new music genre, it's going to have its spike,
Yeah.
and then it's going to level out.
Sure.
Like, people say rock is dead. Rock's not dead. It's just smaller.
Yeah.
There's
And
still
it'll
rock
boom
stations.
again?
People still no. I don't think it booms again. I think it just levels out. So it's like right now we're in the country boom.
Yeah.
And it's going to level out.
I just think country
Hip
isn't
hop
new.
has leveled out.
Can I say
and
a hot take?
now we have Afro beats,
Yes.
which is a new version of music that people haven't
here's
heard, and
my-
it's
the
booming.
one whole-
I want to say
Country's not
so
new.
many hot takes.
No, but say your point.
Country's not new. Country's been around for a
No, but I know what he's saying. But I know what you're saying.
New to like
black
streamers and no, just like new to the marketplace where
This is the
music's
first.
being consumed.
This is the first time since streaming boom where country was cool to young people.
yes.
Fair enough.
But to that point, I think we're once again. This is really me holding up a mirror because I'm white. So I feel like I can speak on this.
White people are the best.
White people and white boys and white chicks with the colleges and sororities and fraternities so enamored by black culture, right? And for a while, it went from like I remember being in high school and there was pockets of like the goth chicks and people who they listened to like a certain kind of music. There was people listening to like I went to high school '06, I was a freshman. 2010, I graduated. 20 minutes outside of Atlanta. So like Snap Music and D4L and Soulja Boy came and performed at the pep rally, and so it was like that era. It's like there was the people who were listening to that and whatever. I think now what's happened with rap is that the people who would have been listening to goth music and goth artists and punk, artists, whether it was Chemical Romance or whatever it was, here's Lil Peep, here's Juice WRLD, here. Hip-hop gave every genre a representative. But now what's happening, the pendulum has swung where it's like, you know what? I think I would just rather listen to just the goth artist or just the country artist, not the country hip-hop mix, not the goth hip-hop mix. There's enough art, like it's time, right? It's time where it's like, it was also hip-hop dominated. We gotta really think, right? It's been 2024, it's been 10, 11, 12 years since like trap boomed and it was a complete insurgence and takeover, right? Where rap and mainly the production of rap and the trap influence was in everything. Ariana Grande was putting out albums that had trap hi-hats. You feel me? It's like you got the biggest pop stars in the world using hip hop influence and 808s and shit like that. So I just think now enough time has passed where people are like, oh, it starts with the artist where it's like, you know what? I think I just want to make like some punk pop goth shit. Some fucking Boys Like Girls, Chemical Romance, All American Reject shit. Like, I just want to do that. And then the same people who were listening to maybe like the emo version of hip hop are like, oh, you know what? It was really this that I was looking for. This just wasn't there in 2014, but now it is there. And I just think that that's what's happening. It's
People
becoming
are
a lot
more nuanced in their
it's becoming a lot
digestion.
more compartmentalized.
Yeah.
It's like, if you want pop punk emo shit, there's actually pop punk emo bands that can just fulfill that role. And if you want trap rap, there's that.
Yeah.
I think the past 10 years, rap just bled over to everything. And so it was massive. And now I think you have people like the Noah Kahns who are singer-songwriters and the Lizzie McAlpines or whatever her name is. She's fucking incredible. And just, Luke Bryan's and Morgan Wallens and Bailey, just all these people who occupy real estate that maybe 5 years ago belonged to rap fans. There was an overlap, but now it's just very clear to those same fans that actually this is just what I wanted. Morgan Wallen blew up, right? And I think within a year or two, not Morgan Wallen, Noah Kahn, that song Stick Season, it's fucking incredible. Sold out Fenway Park.
Wow. Really?
Yes. Like, I think 2 nights in a row.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And it's like Fenway Park, but like you say the name Noah Kahn in a hip hop space.
Nobody knows.
I don't know.
I don't know who Noah Kahn is.
You've heard the song. You've heard
But Stick Season is fucking incredible.
They're also probably not buying as many fake streams.
No, but like, you know what?
The numbers.
You know what? To me, bro,
You
like,
never know. You never know.
I'm just so passionate about.
It's just not reflected in the
I'm so
sales.
passionate about great music,
Yeah.
and I think that is what will always win.
Yeah.
Is great music, and I think a lot of artists and a lot of people that get caught up in why things aren't working, why is hip hop failing, why is this? You know what? The greats are always going to be fine.
The greats are always.
The greats are always going to be fine. The people who were never that ill will always fall off.
Sorry, this is not related to what you said, but I just didn't want to forget it. Can you talk about industry plants a little bit? Like, I hear that term a lot.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I don't even know what it
You
means.
know what that means to people? And it's so funny because the prerequisite years ago used to be you had to be an industry plant. And what industry plant means is basically like, we only know you because the industry planted you here. Well, that used to be the only way you could be known.
Yeah.
Think about it, right? It's like the first time I heard J. Cole was '09 on Blueprint 3 on A Star Is Born.
Right.
I remember I bought Blueprint 3 and Cuddy's debut on the same day, September 9th, I think, '09, right? September 13th, something like that. That was the first time I heard J. Cole. Then I heard the warm-up, and it was a rap, and I was a fan. He was an industry plant by industry plant standards because first time I hear he's on a Jay-Z album, that's a crazy
I think
introduction.
he was already signed to Jay.
No, that's
But it's like, that used to be
I grew up in Queens, and he went to St. John's, I believe,
John's,
and he was like, I saw him handing out.
Right, so you were like early in that way, but it's
like
like,
before he was done.
it's like, you used to only be able to find out about artists if the industry pushed them.
Yeah.
And then the internet opened up and a lot of this like organic rise and guerrilla movements happened to the point where it was very clear, like if you blew up via internet and guerrilla style, or if like an industry put you there. And so it started this conversation of, nah, you're not as real as them. And, you know, and for me, it's like, it used to fuck with me a lot, to be honest. People call me an industry plant because...
Discredits all the work you did.
Yeah.
Bro, because I am the furthest thing from it. And if like, and I get mad because I'm like, one, discredits the work, but two, I'm like, damn, bro, like, y'all are missing out on so much inspiration. Do you understand that, like, if you actually realize the truth, that you would realize you can do it too?
Yeah.
They
You
don't
know what
want
I'm
that.
saying? It's like, bro,
They want the justification
It's like-
for why they didn't do it.
Yeah.
They don't want to know
of
how to do it.
course.
They'd rather not do the work and have an excuse.
Yeah.
And it, yeah,
It's part
bro.
of the Nepo baby thing.
He's on because he cheated, not
Right.
because you're nice.
Right.
And you worked your ass
And you
off.
figured out the system and you did that.
Or your
Yeah,
parents had
bro.
money, so it doesn't count what you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And it, bro, it used to bother the fuck out of me. Because I prided myself on that. It was a part of my identity.
Yeah.
Was my come up. You know what I mean? Like, damn, y'all about it. Like, especially it came during a time where they were taking away everything else, it felt like. I was like, damn, y'all taking away that too?
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing that was like Teflon. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Like
wait,
what?
y'all are saying this now?
What were they saying?
And I remember the dude who started the rumor, straight up. And I'm cool with him now.
What rumor? What were they saying?
So the
He's an
rumor
industry
was, it started on Kanye Tither. It was a forum.
Yeah.
Right? And the rumor was my dad worked for Columbia.
Oh.
And that's how I got on.
Yeah.
First of all, none of that makes sense, right? It's like, so then why did I have to put out 11 mixtapes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he conveniently got hired after the 11th mixtape? It's
Yeah.
okay, that's all.
PrizePicks.com, guys, and if you use the promo code Schulz, they will match your initial deposit up to $100. So you put up $100, you get $100 for free. Why don't you gamble with $100 free? PrizePicks.com. Now let's get back to the show.